And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. This is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, which I dropped earlier this morning. Superman soars to box office success. For now, we'll see how it lasts at the box office. Xbox is getting hit from all sides with their Game Pass. And have you been watching the big hit right now on Netflix? It is K-pop Demon Hunters. That's right. And it's actually pretty darn good. So go ahead and check out our thoughts on all those great things on the latest Pop Culture Cosmos. Also, as well, of course, Joe Sorrell hopefully will be joining me. He said he's iffy on tonight, so I can't say he will be here or not. But if he is, go ahead and check him out today. Simblades with a Y.com. His game Corrupt on Steam, Coreupt on Steam, and then also as well, don't forget his Joe Sorrell channel on YouTube, and also as well the Joe Sorrell Experiment on Playback as well. Yes, Stan, the Twitter world is going nuts right now. I'm looking at it. I was there live. I just came back for the Thomas and Mack Arena. It is the Lakers, unfortunately, losing today. But that doesn't tell the whole story about what went on. In fact, I don't even think that was very much of the story as far as the Lakers getting outplayed by the Clippers. Especially on the defensive end, Lakers couldn't really make any baskets to speak of. 67-58, the Lakers lose. They fall to 1-2 here in Vegas, and 2-3 on the season, I believe, so far as for the summer league. And the Clippers improved to 3-0. The Lakers today were led by, who do you know? Bronny James, 17 points today, playing in front of his dad, who came out just before the game. Actually, several Lakers attended the game. And as he was walking by, getting to his seat, LeBron James, directly below my daughter and I, about 10 rows down, decided to go ahead and give Rob Pelinka a little hug. A nice little hug, just a nice little gesture. He also just said hello to JJ Redick, and before he sat down on the other side. So there was some pleasantries between LeBron and Rob. So maybe it's not as bad as it's being made out to be. I don't know. You make of that what you will. But Bronny James did look like a basketball player today. It happens seemingly every third or fourth game, but this was the game that he did really look like a good player, under control. He looked like a player making good decisions, looked like a player that could hit. It was a hug, Intel. It was a hug. It was fine. It was good. Half hug, full hug, doesn't matter. It was a hug. A hug. It was pleasantries were exchanged, Intel. So I don't care what you don't want to make it or how you want to make it. It was pleasantries exchanged. So half hug, full hug, 3/4 hug, whatever hug. I was there. I saw it live, and I'll just leave it at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Yes, several Lakers were watching, eating popcorn. My daughter wanted me to make sure everybody knew that everybody was there, was eating the $4 popcorn boxes. I don't think they had to pay for it, though. But yes, Reeves and Hayes and Ayton. And yes, just several of the Lakers were there watching. The Lakers, unfortunately, lose 67-58. But Bronny did look like a player today. He did look like a player. But the question is, can he put it all together? And can he put it together consistently in an NBA fashion? He looks great in the summer league, but can that translate to something more? Can it translate into back-to-back good games for Bronny James? Can it translate to something he can take to training camp? Can it be something he could take through exhibition? We'll have to wait and see. But that's the other thing, Bloodhound. On the other end of the spectrum was a guy that was this time last year while Bronny James was shooting airball after airball after airball. It was Dalton Connect looking good. Dalton Connect looking like he was going to be a real player. Dalton Connect looking like he was going to be an integral part of the Lakers rotation. And it didn't really quite work out that way as much as when many people out there wanted to have it look like that. But we were hoping that he would get the kind of improvement this summer that would take him and catapult him after a rocky first season where he was in and out of the lineup. He got traded, got rescinded, came back. We were hoping that he would be able to put it all together this summer and be able to take that confidence gained over the course of the summer into the rest of this summer and into training camp, et cetera, et cetera. But alas, today, I think it was said in the crowd, just seemed to be going through the motions, just not giving a premium effort on either side of the ball. And just his shot does not look quite the same as it did during the course of the season. He had that one stretch up in Golden State for the California one quarter where he scored 13 points in a quarter. But since then, and before that, it's just not been a pretty sight. Today he was 3 of 15, 1 of 8 from 3, only 8 points, 7 rebounds though, did help a little bit on the boards. Again, Bronny James, 17 points. That's a positive step in the right direction for him. 5 assists. He ran the offense quite a bit for this team. I don't know if I would trust him to do that at the NBA level, but he did look like a competent player today. Actually looked very good today. One of his best performances overall since he's come into the league, especially in summer leagues. So congrats to him on that. Looking good in front of dad, mom, and his sister. So yeah, absolutely looked good today in front of the Lakers with JJ and Rob right there, just a mere feet, maybe 6 feet away from him. Right there, performing well. Cole Swider, 4 of 11 from 3, 16 points for him. Trying desperately to get on and latch on with a two-way with the Lakers or with someone else. Today was not a good day for Darius Baisley, who only scored a point, was invisible, even though he's one of the top Lakers leading scorers during the. So overall, it was kind of a mixed bag today as the Lakers lose 67-58. And here's my man indeed. It is the man from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to watch the supposed love fest between LeBron and Rob Pelinka. If you saw it on camera, which of course we're talking about half hug, full hug. It was half hug, full hug. I saw 10 rows down for me. It was a hug enough. It was pleasantries. They looked happy. They smiled at each other. They laughed. They said a little, some nice things. It is, of course, Magic Man Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here. Thank you, everyone who said, saw the note that I was at Summer League and said the nice things. I know that one of you guys said that I was looked tall. Go to Summer League. You want to know what that is, Magic Man? You said you were 6'1", 6'2", did you say you were? Okay, you're on. Yeah, I can't hear you though. I think I need to plug it up. But yes, he said he's about 6'1". If you want to know, while you get your mic working, my friend, if you want to know, guys out there, where you stand in this world, as far as height is concerned, go to Summer League. Not just around the basketball players themselves, around the staff, around the personnel, around the former players, around the individuals just in and around the league, or anything relating to basketball. Everybody is tall. The average height at Thomas and Mack tonight was 6'5", in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's what I was about to
Yeah.
guess, Gerald. So yeah, you'd fit right
6'5".
in at around 6'5". Yeah.
But I was looking up at virtually everyone. Everyone that was male, and it was just up taller than me, and I'm 6'2", so that'll tell you something right there. But yeah, it is of course summer league. I just enjoyed every year I go. You know, if people are asking me about the seats, no, I just grab any seat I could, and I don't like to sit down too close.
You
Where's
don't want to
everybody around? I
arouse
like,
yeah, you don't want to arouse
yeah,
suspicion. You just like sit in the middle comfortably. It's a good seat, Gerald.
yeah. They let me in free. I just go ahead and I just take
Were
the
you
free
near
seat.
an aisle?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
need to
write.
be near an aisle. I
I
have
need to be
big
there. Yeah.
legs. I have big legs. I tell my girlfriends or
Yes.
friends just in general, I'm the bigger of the group, so I need to be by the aisle.
Yes, absolutely. Intel Wild says, "Why wasn't Jeannie there if she's still the so-called owner and governor?" Your guess is as good as mine, Intel. I
You
mean,
know what,
Rob was there.
You know what, Gerald?
JJ was there.
I
Yes.
saw when LeBron and Rob did they it reminded me of just that kind of political dabbing that people do. Yeah, hey man, what's up? Like you're on the other party. It's like, yeah, hey man, what's up? It's kind of like just to show that there's no kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There isn't any ill will or
Yeah.
any perceived, kind of disturbance in the fourth. But honestly, Gerald, Rob gets a D. Rob gets a D. The summer is now over. He gets a D. As far as summer moves are concerned, I don't mean the summer's over. I just mean moves to be made. And quite frankly, Gerald, I am concerned about Dalton Connect. I think it's time to talk about the concern level with Dalton Connect
Oh yeah,
because
this is remember this comes after a day he was given for rest. Even though Cole Swider wasn't given a day off for rest, even though Darius Baisley, DJ Stewart, like several other Lakers, were not given a game off for rest, but he was given a game off for rest and looked like he needed to be resting some more, Magic Man, because I saw him live, remember last year twice, and he looked like he was wanted to play, wanted to go ahead and make the NBA, wanted to go ahead and be at a level that that he and everybody was going to be happy with. Flash forward to a year later, he just looks like he's going through the motions, man. I heard it in the crowd, that phrase used, and that seemed the most apropos. He just seems like he just doesn't care.
That's a brutal assessment, Gerald, especially for a professional. I mean, if you're getting that kind of assessment on your professionalism, I think it's time to maybe seek out a new line of work, just a new profession, if that's what's going on here, because the results speak to that. I mean, they really do. That's a perfect synopsis for what I'm seeing. Because it's regression. It's regression. He has regressed badly, and we're not even talking about the problem. Me and Gerald aren't even talking about the problems he has defensively. I mean, offensively, he has regressed badly, and he needs to get back to a level where he's consistent enough where you can consider playing him. Because right now, Gerald, I would not play him in an NBA game
No.
because I think he's just too detrimental to your um overall juice. I mean, he is just bad right now. I'm not sure if it's a focus issue. I'm not sure if it's a like you said, Gerald. Like what you're saying sounds more like a personal willpower issue. Like he doesn't just have the willpower to go out there and just as a second year player with his skill set, Gerald. I thought the Lakers would have won this game by 30, 35. Quite frankly, just being fair, I'm not disrespecting any of the guys on the Clippers or any of the other Lakers, But between Bronny and Dalton, with the experience they have, second year level, you should be killing a team like this.
Plus,
Like
guys desperate to make a roster, Sean. Several guys on there trying to make any kind of NBA roster and make an impression in front of NBA. Because Robert is not the only NBA GM that was at that game. There were other
no.
player personnel all around that game, even before that with the Spurs,
Gerald,
and the Jazz. Yeah,
and speaking of the Spurs, I mean, me and Gerald were talking about the Spurs in the earlier. Gerald was talking about Kyle Filipowski, who probably is the breakout star of summer league so far. But guess what,
he looked
Gerald?
really good.
The Spurs have found another gem, Daniel Jones Garcia, who
Yes,
every
scored
time
almost
I look,
28.
Gerald, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, five for six from 3 point, or 4 for 5 from
Mhm.
three. And he's at constantly averaging 25, 28 points. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Spurs found Daniel Jones Garcia. Where was Rob Pelinka and the Lakers watching this guy? Undrafted, and the Spurs found another gem. To me, he's the star of summer league, Gerald. The Spurs found themselves another one.
He looked good tonight as well, but I was so impressed with Filipowski. I mean, just the
Yeah.
things he could do. It's just exactly what the Lakers need. Uh, Defensively, it was still hit or miss because his effort was hit or miss on the defensive side. It
But
was
as
clear he
Gerald
was
pointed out,
he
passed
was
on
saving himself.
Filipowski.
Yeah, he was saving himself
Pelinka.
for the offensive end, Magic Man. But man, a great skill set. Inside had touch, mid range had touch, and all the way out to the 3 pointer.
By the way, Gerald,
It looked smooth
if I'm not mistaken, I believe
and
L.A.
could
has.
rebound as well.
Yes, he can. If I'm not mistaken, I believe LA has a healthy Mormon population. So I mean, it's not as if he would have been uncomfortable and as uh, Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints follower in Los Angeles. And Rob just passed up another guy again in the draft that was talented. Just passed him up.
JSJ, was I? I didn't know you spoke for me. Really? I didn't know. Were you there at the game? Were you there at UNLV Thomas and Mack Center? Were you down there? Were you one of the only three Clippers fans that were at the game? Please, I like to let me know in the chat, man.
But I
So you
mean,
see this day, I was bored of the game. I was with my one of my daughters. We had a great time. I got there. I was in there for free. I appreciate every time I'm allowed a comp to go into one of these games. So I the last thing I was bored. I was just disappointed, like I said, Sean, with the play of Dalton Connect. It really he looked like he was bored.
he did, Gerald. He actually did. I mean, and I told Gerald I thought he played like it was like an out of body experience for him. Like he was
Mhm.
watching himself be bored watching the game, and that is a huge red flag, man. It's a huge red flag. Um, and Gerald, if you were Rob Pelinka and you were honestly evaluating your draft pick of Dalton Connect, what would you say to yourself right now, Gerald?
It's time to move on. See if I can
Hmm.
get an asset. See if I can find a sucker that hasn't seen him play
I,
lately.
I
And see if I could get any type of assets in return for it.
definitely 100%, because to me this is like driving a 70,000 Range Rover off the lot. It depreciated in value the second you drove it off, and now you need to get what you can get for it a year later. I agree with Gerald. Unfortunately, I think this has come to an impasse with his time as a Laker, Gerald, because I mean he's regressing, and you're asking him to get better defensively, and he needs to get much, much better on both ends of the floor. And I don't see it happening in a Laker uniform.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. It is the Magic Man Sean Grice along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate you joining us. Once again, the Lakers lose 67-58. Not the greatest offensive performance, Magic, from what we saw all night long. The Lakers just could not string baskets together. What are your thoughts on Bronny tonight? Seemingly was the only consistent factor outside of, well, Swider had came and gone, but did get into a rhythm there for a little bit. But with Bronny, he looked very calm. He looked under control. He actually took care of the offense. He was the point for a good portion of the minutes that he was in. Now, his conditioning is a little bit of a concern because I wanted to go ahead and make mention that he was taken out very quickly at the beginning of each half. I believe by the 5 minute mark, he was taken out and he did look winded. So that please keep note of that. I'm sure he's trying to get his conditioning back for some reason, but we've talked about Bronny and the inconsistency that he's had and he's shown. He had that one good game, his first game that he played in summer. And since then, it's been very much a mixed bag, especially from beyond the arc. But today, both as a distributor, both as a guy driving to the basket, both as a guy as well that can hit from the outside, he looked like a player that may be ready to take the next step. But the problem is, will he continue to look like that in the final game on Thursday for the Lakers? Because they're not making the playoffs, everyone. They're not extending their time in Vegas.
I hope so, Gerald. And knowing what effort he's given so far, I expect him to give his best effort on Thursday. Look, it's small progression here, and I gotta say, Joe, I'm very pleased with what I've seen out of the small progress we've seen out of Bronny, because there have been improvements both offensively and defensively. And I'll just kind of put it in this analogy so far, Gerald, from what we're seeing at the exit interviews. The Lakers staff gave Bronny ingredients on what he needs to do better, and it was up to him whether or not to include them in the recipe. He's included them in the recipe, Gerald. It's obvious Bronny has come back here with a purpose. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this consistently. Now, has it all come together? No. But you could see the progress, Gerald. You could see the
Yes.
progress. He's
It just
trying to
he
put it
needs to
all
put it all
together.
together. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly. It's not all there yet, but you could see that he's trying to fit the pieces all together. With Dalton Connect, the Lakers staff, once again, Dalton, this is what we need to see you do in the offseason. And Gerald, it looks like he just decided he was going to stay out till like 2 or 3 in the morning and roll out of bed at like 10 or 11, come to practice. Seemingly looks like he's putting in work, Gerald, but I don't see it. I do not see it thus far.
Now, JY, I do think Bronny has improved a little bit. Yes, he is not playing always against NBA level talent. I will give you that. But he does, when you look at him at his performance live from what it was live for me 1 year ago, Magic Man and JY and in the chat, it's not the same player. It's not the same player from what I saw. It's not the same performance. Last year, I saw a very erratic individual, a guy who had zero confidence, who was just chucking up shots, airballing. What was he? 0 for 8. I think 3 air balls, I think, in that game. People laughing at him constantly. Now you had a cheering section behind LeBron that was cheering for him constantly because and maybe that was giving him a lift because they were behind LeBron and they were just like the small section really cheering for him. Maybe it's the guys in the box seats that were just so excited to see him getting up and play. Yeah, maybe you could say it's still a novelty to an effect, but today he looked like a adequate player. He looked like someone who might, if you were going to say, okay, that kid's going to go to a camp, that kid's going to go to and at least get a chance to make a roster. Whether or not he's going to be in a rotation, we'll have to wait and see. Because again, he puts these games together every now and then, Magic Man. He just doesn't put them like string them 2, 3, 4 times in a row, which is what you need to do to make a rotation. You need to put these kind of games and kind of performances together more often.
Yes, Gerald, and I think I don't think he needs a reminder, but he definitely needs, a kick in the rear end every once in a while when he's almost there and he's not just pulling it all together, Gerald. So, definitely, but it starts with consistent focus. Like, I know it's a cliche, but this is what it takes to be a professional, right? Possession by possession, quarter by quarter, game by game. You string those elements along. It's like crawl, walk, and run, right, Gerald? You got to before you can walk, you got to crawl. Before you can run, you got to walk. I, but it's got to happen a little faster for us right now because Dalton Connect has definitely regressed. So we definitely need Bronny James to improve dramatically, Gerald, and on a consistent basis.
Absolutely. And with a
For
very bad bench that we've got, yes.
with the whole bad bench we've got, and Gerald's using a nice word, I would say abysmal. I would say we
Well, we
probably
were
have
one of the worst benches
worst,
in the league
yeah, and
last
I would
year.
say we probably have one of the two or three worst benches right now in the NBA if you had to flip a coin over it. But yeah, we desperately need Bronny James to consistently play well, and that's shocking thing to say, but here we are.
It's when we talk about how bad this bench is. I mean, last year's one of the least productive benches in the NBA, and you lost DFS again. I wasn't sad to see him go. I would have liked to see the Lakers get something back in return, but they didn't. But he's only 10 points a game. But you bring Jake LaRavia in, and you're hoping he can match that output or a little bit more. But who else is helping you off that bench? Is that it's going to be consistent for you? That's the question. I have a feeling if Bronny puts maybe a couple more in the exhibition season, he is going to, whether Joe likes it, you like it, I like it, or anybody out there likes it, as far as the Bronny naysayers or anything like that, like we have been for quite some time. Bronny, if because this bench is so bad, if he proves to string a couple of these games together, he's going to get a look, my friend. He's going to get a look in rotation, whether we want it or not.
100%, Gerald. As you were saying that, kind of the two words that popped in my head was, yep, Gerald's right. If Bronny asserts himself, then JJ will have no choice but to completely insert him into his rotation. If he asserts himself offensively and plays consistently defensively, yeah, whether Joe likes it or not, Bronny is going to get significant playing time because the bench is abysmal, atrocious, asinine, ten, however you want to describe it. Rob has put together, I think, the worst bench in his tenure as a Lakers executive, Gerald, because it is just bad.
And that's saying something. Again, we remember the 22 team, which was the world's oldest team, so that'll tell you something. Want to get to Intel Wild's super chats? Truly appreciate it, and then also your chats as well, as well as your questions as well, Chad. Intel says trade Dalton now with Reeves and a pick. Oh, I don't know what you'd get back for that. Plus
Mm,
Gabe, make the deal, Rob. Lakers, yeah, and there you go. I love seeing the Podfather, Magic Man, and Joe. This is the real OG's Laker Fast break to me. Well, thank you. I mean, but we got lots of
thank you.
great people that are on the panel all the time. Keeps it varied in town. It keeps it more interesting. The more faces that you see on this show. So, Legend of Experiment. Did you enjoy Summer League? It's always a great experience. Anytime I'm able to go ahead and get in there, like I said, I got a comp for it. Just that came through late last night for me, so I got in there today, and I appreciate it for what it is, and I think every time I get to go ahead and get to see it, all the games. You go to Cox Pavilion. We saw that, my daughter and I saw the Jazz Spurs game. Very exciting game. Got the performances Magic Man and I just went over. So yeah, it's great. I mean, if you want to go all day, it's an NBA. I was telling Mark, aka Xbox, it's an NBA junkie's dream. NBA's junkies dream to just go ahead, $67, I think it is, for an all-day pass. That'll get you to all the games in both the Cox Pavilion and Thomas Mack, which are adjacent to each other. You never have to leave the building. You could just go right by the snack bar, and there you go into the Cox Pavilion, or you go out of the Cox Pavilion right by the snack bar once again, and there you are at the Thomas and Mack. You never actually have to leave physically the entire Thomas and Mack building because they're both adjacent to each other. So it's great. You walk from one to the other, one from the other. So it's great. It's NBA Hooper's delight, and if you really enjoy your basketball, I suggest you really coming out here. Before I get back to Intel's question, let's go ahead with Deshaun. You popped up something on StatMuse, I believe.
Yes, Gerald. These are the 5 worst benches for scoring in the NBA last season. As you could see, we were number 2. Only the Knicks, only the New York Knicks, Gerald,
Oh,
had a
and
worse
you know why
bench
that is
than we
because
did.
you know why that is, Tom. Tom does not like to. He will run you into the ground if you're a competent player. That's for sure. Um,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to go ahead and talk about Intel Wild's trade Dalton now. Well, you have the 4. This goes back to what I was talking with Joe and arguing with Joe about because 2027 because we'll have plenty of cap space instead of a win now mode. The Lakers are not in a win now mode. Let's just get that to everybody out there. Rob Pelinka, he was there relaxing, talking to JJ. They did not look. They did not look like guys who were in any win now important mode out there. Because this summer, that's basically what he's been doing. He's just been sitting like he did today, relaxing. He didn't eat popcorn. He left that to the players, but he was just there, just schmoozing. Every now and then, somebody from the front row that he knew, player's wife or what have you, just came up, chit chatted, whatnot. It's all nice, all good, all friendly, all great. But the thing is, he's not done much. It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out for 2027. That's basically what's doing. Making the team just competent enough to be a fringe contender, per se, Magic Man. I mean, getting Aiton on the cheap or on a cheaper contract, that's a low risk, high reward.
Yep.
Getting Jake LaRavia on a $6 million per average per year deal for 2 years. If it doesn't work out, you can jettison him next summer.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. But I think with the assets we had, and Dalton, again, as Intel indicated, should be part of that now that we've seen him play quite a bit now. And the 4 expirings, which includes Reeves, which includes Rui. You could, especially leading into the draft, you could have gotten players and picks that you could have used in this draft to get competent players that could help you right now. There are players in the summer league, Magic Man, that have in the teens, 20s, that really have not looked too bad. They look like they may be able to give you 10 to 15 minutes in the NBA already.
Yes, Gerald, absolutely. And I gotta be honest with you, Gerald. I'm becoming very irritated by the narratives of the people you mentioned. Not just them, the narratives out there that just wait, just sit back and wait. Just Gerald, all you and I have to do is sit back, pour a glass of iced tea, and just wait for 2027, Gerald. And the sunshine and rainbows and the white unicorns that Joe and Empire Jeff and Trevor Lane keep telling us about will appear magically. They'll just appear magically, Gerald, because these clairvoyant people have told us that it's going to happen. Gerald, where were they where were Empire Jeff and Joe last year talking about the Indiana Pacers being a contender for the NBA championship? Don't remember hearing that, Gerald. I
And
don't remember hearing that
Giannis,
from them.
Giannis at 33 will still be a very effective player. I have no doubt about
Mm-hmm.
that. But you cannot tell me he's going to be the way he was when he was 28. At some
No.
point, his athleticism will start to wane. And I don't know when that is, but conveniently it will probably be just after he signs whatever massive contract he gets. Conveniently in 2027. And Jokic, I don't even let's not even start that pipe dream. I know it's all over Laker fandom right now. Let's not start that pipe dream. If if he doesn't accept a contract extension next summer, then let's have that conversation. Not now. You guys are just putting yourselves through pain right now because we've told you guys how many more millions he will get if he waits till next year. It's purely a financial decision as of this time. Now, if he doesn't like what he sees and he says no next year, then the rock eyebrow goes up. Then you
Mhm.
all can speculate till the cows come home. But for now, this 2027 plan to me is a little bit half-hearted, and I'll tell you why, Magic Man. A, several other teams are doing the same thing, and they'll have just as much, if not more money during that period of time as well in 2027. B, you're giving Boston 2 years then to regroup
Clearance,
with the two
clearance.
Laker teams. Yeah, you're giving them a
2
chance to regroup,
2 years
reform,
of
to
clearance,
see if
right?
yeah, to let Tatum get back to full health, and you're letting him back into and building a team around him at that time. This team right now that they're going to
Hey,
bring out there this
yeah,
year is not going to be the same Boston
it's
team it's
not,
going to
it's
be in
not Gerald,
2 seasons.
but let's be honest with our guys about this too. They're realistic about it. They
Joe, I
already
say the
know.
same thing. He's Joe's in the chat. I say the same thing when you're here or when you're not here. Why did we argue the last show? So don't tell me that. I will tell you this again. You are wasting prime years of Luca. Whether or not you care about LeBron, all right, that's up to you guys. Okay, whether or
I
not
don't
you're saying that
anymore.
LeBron is plugging up $53
I
million,
don't.
okay, what have you. You still had options to improve this team to a better status than they are coming into this season. And you didn't do it. And you didn't do it. And if the Lakers have a good season, even with Luca getting an MVP season, if he has a good season, but not a championship season, then it's all for naught. Same thing with next year. If you don't get a championship,
And
it's all
look,
for naught.
yeah, exactly, Jill. And you know what? Unlike the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Los Angeles Lakers will not have the balls to pull off a proposed LeBron James trade because even if they
Oh, they'll do it
did,
if he asks.
well,
They'll do it if he
only if
asks.
he asks, because
Yeah.
he will reject Gerald. LeBron will reject any Lakers trade. It's only a LeBron approved trade. Gerald, we both know there is no universe where LeBron accepts a Lakers trade. He's
Yeah,
going
of
to
course.
accept a LeBron trade.
But I also, if I was Rob Pelinka, the first thing I would tell him, if I would have sat right now next to him, 10 rows down, 15 rows down, whatever, right there on the side, right there as he was sitting, because it was funny because he and JJ were sitting on one side of the basket, and LeBron and his family were sitting on the other side of the basket, and also the players were on the opposite side as well of LeBron and J of Rob and JJ, who were sitting right next to the Lakers bench. But if I were to tell Rob one thing, I'd like to tell many things, but I won't. If I had to tell him one thing, I'd say don't give in to LeBron's demands on a buyout unless it's after the trade deadline. If it's after the trade deadline and the Lakers are just not competitive, then you do what you need to do. But don't let LeBron have his cake and eat it too. Let me go ahead to JY's comment about 2027. Who are the Lakers supposed to get in this magical 2027? JY, right now, if you go to Twitter and the wonderful land it is, as Dan was in there as far as talking about LeBron to Dallas, again, LeBron did not look like a guy that was going to Dallas tonight. I'll just leave it at that. But JY, if you're saying this magical 2027 year, supposedly, if Jokic and Giannis don't sign extensions before then, they will both be eligible in the summer of 2027. But again, Jokic didn't want to even talk about extension this year because he gets paid $80 million more, I believe. He's eligible to get $80 million more on a extension if he signs it next year. So if in 2026, JY, Jokic doesn't sign an extension next year, then we can start having conversations. Then we'll be devoting like 3 shows a week to it or something like that. We'll go overboard just like the rest of Twitter. But if he signs that extension next year, then which I think he will. I think it's all for now. I think he's going to be as long in Denver as long as he wants to be in Denver. And then with Giannis,
and
who
Gerald,
knows what Giannis wants?
Gerald, the other prime free agent in 2027 was supposed to be Trae Young, but we've all seen what the Atlanta Hawks are doing. They are trying to keep Trae Young an Atlanta Hawk, and I believe Trae Young will re-sign with the Hawks, Gerald. I believe they'll have a successful season, and I believe sometime in the spring, Gerald, Trae Young will sign a big fat extension with the Atlanta Hawks, and then that's it. Because who are you going after? 34-year-old Anthony Davis again? How about Kyrie Irving, Gerald? Just coming off an ACL injury. What about
He'll be
James Harden?
30. He'll be
Yeah.
36 at that time.
What about James Harden? We're approaching nearly 40 at that age. So,
what goody would he do with Luka?
2027 doesn't offer a lot for the Lakers, ladies and gentlemen. I know Trevor Lane and a lot of the experts out there are suggesting there's a pot of gold in 2027. Not really. Not really.
CMB, he should be happy with Denver's offseason. I mean, they got a backup center for him and De'Ron Holmes coming back. So they've got big men now behind Jokic so he doesn't have to play 40-something minutes a game. They have Bruce Brown, who probably on any other team is going to look miserable, but on a team with Jokic, they may resurrect him. And they've got Tim Hardaway Jr., and whatever you say about Tim Hardaway Jr. and Frank would tell you, or our Dallas fan would tell you, exactly
shooter can shoot for can shoot 7 for 14 as well as 0 for 9. So
yeah, they can't stand Tim Hardaway THJ in Dallas. But getting those, how are those looks going to look when Jokic is passing you the ball wide open and you're wide open for them? So.
Especially when you have Christian Brown too, Gerald. Yeah, so you have Brown, and Tim Hardaway Jr. as your off guards with Jamal Murray there. So I mean, you have a lot of depth there in Denver. So
yeah, now I won't have this argument with you I did last year on that Magic Man. Now I will not. But we'll have to wait and see how that works out. And then you got Cam Johnson. I think you got a better overall player. I know I had an argument with but I think you got an overall better player in Cam Johnson than Michael Porter Jr., and you got him for half the price. So you tell me, that's a good offseason in my books.
They lost 2 rotational players and they replaced them with 4 productive rotational players. So it was a good offseason for Denver.
What's up, Frank? Speaking of the devil, he's in the chat now. Yes, he says I'm fine with THJ going to Denver because he's going to destroy them on the inside. You know, you may be right, but he'll be limited in minutes. It's not like he's going to play in a ton of minutes.
Brown, both Browns are going to probably slot in there at the off guard there with Jamal Murray.
I think so. If he gives him, anything as far as shooting from the outside, if he stays close to 40%, I think that they'll be happy with that. I would not like CMB. Like you said, you shouldn't bet on Jokic leaving Denver in 2027. I just don't think. I need to see him turn down the extension next year. He turns that down next year. We are having a lot of conversation here, guys. We will have a lot of conversation. But until then, let's hold off on that. And that's why this Magical Mystery 2027 tour is kind of disappointing, because Sean, again, as we'll get back to the game here in a minute, as Intel Wild says, send LeBum to the darkest, coldest Syria on earth. Man, that's cold, Intel. That's cold. I mean, the guy won us a champion. Guy helped us win a championship in 2020.
Hmm.
I understand the passive aggressiveness, all the stuff that was said, the white noise that's all around, and all that stuff. I get it. I get it. 100% get it. I'm tired of it as well. But
And Gerald,
he did win us a champion.
yeah, he did. But all he would need to say, or all Rich Paul would need to say, is, "We are seeking a trade," and then this relationship is severed.
Yeah. There you go.
As soon as he wants out, that's all he has to say. But Gerald, let's be honest. He likes living. He said, "Okay, so I'm glad I'm on here with you again, so we can also have a discussion about this, Gerald. How about the pile of doo doo that Brian Windhorst and Ramona Shelburne are trying to throw out into
Oh, that earlier late last week. Yeah, that big
our
article on ESPN.
the Lakers atmosphere here, Joe, trying to turn us against one another here, trying to pit Luca fans against LeBron fans. That's absolutely ridiculous. That LeBron refuted that report, Gerald. He said the reason he became the Los Angeles was to help the Lakers win a championship and acclimate his family into the Southern California landscape, which is what he wanted to do. I mean, he sought advice as well, Gerald. I mean, I don't need to tell you. I mean, it looks like Malika Obama wants to be a big shot in Hollywood, Gerald. And she doesn't want to use the Obama last name to do it. I hear she's got a lot of ambition, and
Yes.
I also hear from a lot of people on the inside that LeBron and Savannah think that their young daughter can also have a similar impact behind the scenes as well.
It was
So
touching because at
yeah,
halftime,
it
oh,
was, and for
I don't know
Ramona
if you saw
Shelburne
him
to
dancing
pull
with his
that,
girl.
yes,
He was
yes,
dancing with his girl as they were doing the tribute to Latina culture during the dance at halftime, and he was
yes,
dancing with his daughter to the side. It was a cute moment. It was a really
it
cute
was.
moment. And again, whatever you say about him, at least he tries to show his family.
He's a great
Uh,
family man. I mean,
yeah, it's a great family.
who would question him about ever question him about that? But going back, Gerald, and them basically they also threw out some comment, Gerald, about Luca having a nice bottle of wine at some meeting with the ownership, as if to throw it out there. Oh yeah, LeBron's not the only one who gets wined and dined in
That they're
LA
that
now.
they're telling Luca about the plans, the future plans. They're not telling LeBron.
Bron.
It's understandable, but obviously we saw, okay, whether it's for a public showcase or not, at least publicly they seem to get along tonight. They seem to, they didn't talk again uh, during the game at all. I did want to mention that because they were seated far enough apart once, but they did exchange some pleasantries. They did speak for a couple minutes. They did speak well of each other, and they did seem to part with smiles on their faces. It did seem genuine. So I'm going to take it for what it's worth. I'm going to take it that there is still some problems behind the scenes, still some desires by LeBron to want to exceed the, or let's say, speed up the timeline, as it were. I'm still very much thinking that he wants to do that. He's in his last years. That's natural to want that. Uh, Sean, you're around LeBron's age. If this was the last years of your career, you'd want every team that you're on to speed up the timeline. But
Yes.
he understands when he commits $53 million and says, I'm going to go ahead and play for the team, but for $53 million, he understands what he might have given back to the team as far as control and the outlook. And with Luca, they have another timeline in hand. My thing is, and your thing is, with Boston in a state of repair, with OKC a Jalen Williams or SGA injury away from not being back in the finals, the door is open with the right transactions to be able to get this team now in a position to win at a higher level than I think they're going to do this season. I didn't think they're going to bad. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. Never said they're going to be bad. But the problem is they do not look like a team that is going to, in a playoff scenario, be as well prepared or well structured as a Houston, as a Denver, or as a OKC if all these teams go in healthy.
100% drilled. I think I think last year what happened was went on that. We went streaking there in February, and the defense played like a house on fire. And I think we kind of played above our skis a little bit and ended up as the third seed, bunched up with a bunch of other
All
teams,
those
and they
teams were within 2 games
2
of each
games of
other.
each other. And I
Yeah.
think this year we're going to be at the bottom of that pile and probably end up
I
being like a 6 seed. But I still feel confident,
I'd
even
say
with
right. I'd say
Luka and LeBron.
that's yeah. I'd say that's solid right now. Unless if Luca has an MVP season, he can carry this team back to 50 wins and a third or
Mm,
fourth seed. I think
I
he can do
agree.
that. But in a play, I'm worried more about the playoffs. In a
Hmm.
playoff structure, who you go to battle with in the 7 game series, we saw that the Lakers have some flaws against the wrong team. They have some serious matchup issues. Against an OKC, they match up pretty good. In regular season, they actually matched up very well with OKC. They beat them twice in a row in OKC. But against Minnesota, which is right around them, they
Hmm.
might have issues again. With a
Hmm.
team like Houston, with a lot of size on that team, they've got 3 7-footers on that team. That might be a problem. And then also as well, you talk about Denver that now has, Denver. Denver's had the Lakers number.
Yeah.
So I just want to see the Lakers more prepared to win now because I think the door is open now. Who knows what can happen in 2 years, even if you do have the cap space? There might be no one to get. You might be desperate to just look for a trade. And with the Rob making these trades, it's all not, it's a mixed bag on what you might get.
Yeah. Because how did that cap space work out for us in 2017, everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. It just it it's it's disappointing. It's disappointing to see. Again, I think this could be a good team. Could be a very good team, but I just don't know where this team stands as far as how high it can go with the
And
fact that
Gerald,
it looks
I
like
don't.
Rob is not going all in.
And Gerald, I don't think Rob's lucky enough to be on the other end of a phone when a desperate GM calls him and asks him if he wants to trade for a couple of stars. I don't think he's that lucky again.
We'll see. Frank says, I don't think Houston's that talented. Well, their major flaw, Frank, in my opinion, was their half court offense. And if Durant is healthy, the one thing he can still do is facilitate in that offense. He can still create and shoot and make create offense in a half court setting, which is something again we saw OKC have issues with. We saw Houston definitely have issues with. Denver is much more affluent in that area, so Houston could match up very well if that's the case. I think that they do. They put a lot of shooting now around as far as their base. With if Reed Shepard takes a step up, like he's been playing pretty good in the summer league, if he takes a step up, I now they know that they have a hole at shooting guard. I think the key is Amen Thompson, Magic Man. Can he step up offensively because he's one of the best defenders in the league? If he or Jabari Smith Jr. really take that next step as individuals, as players, uh, maybe Frank and I might see things another way as far as Houston is concerned.
Yeah, 100% Gerald. And with all due respect to Frank, I would say, I mean, we see it in Houston, man. It's just Stone and Ime Udoka just are running a different ship, Gerald. It's a tight ship now because they just waived Nate Williams. Nate Williams was a pretty looked at player coming out of this draft, Gerald, even though nobody took him. Talented, skilled, but didn't play well in only one game with Houston. They waived him, Gerald, and they signed Cameron Johnson instead. So in Houston, it's about being productive. If you're not
Yeah.
going to be productive, Emi Udoka is just going to sit your ass down. And other than Kevin Durant, it's up to everybody else to be, and Fred Van Fleet, excuse me. Other than those two vets, I think everybody's up for grabs there as far as
Cam,
whether or not you can
Cam,
play consistently. Yeah.
Cam
Cam
Whitmore. He
Whitmore.
couldn't find time consistently on it, and he is, according to the stats, the per points per minute number 4 out of number 4 in the league. Number 4 in the league of all the players in the league. He was number 4 at points per minute or something like that. Whatever you gauge as far as the best ability to score the basketball last season, and he couldn't find consistent time in the league. Now, if he goes to Washington, he can score 20. Now he has to defend, which is something he was allergic to there. I think with him, it's
Mhm.
just a question of want because he does have the athleticism. With Dalton, I think there's other issues there as well, but we'll have to wait and see. But getting back to today's game, just a disappointing effort to put out 58 points in a summer league game is just truly disappointing. I know the Clippers really clamped down at times on the defensive end and made
Yep.
it hard for the Lakers,
I
but
know,
still,
Gerald.
it's
I
very
know.
disappointing to see
It
the Lakers
is.
play today.
It is, Gerald, especially with a player like Cole. You have Swider, you have Darius Baisley, you have Bronny James, you also have Dalton Connect. These are NBA players with, you know, some close to 100 games, especially if you're coming into your second or fourth or fifth season playing. So, to be honest with you, Gerald, I don't expect a team with that kind of vets in the league to have a higher rebounding number than your field goal percentage. That's ridiculous, especially with Dalton Connect. Especially,
Kaio, I know you want to trade LeBron now, but remember, LeBron has to prove anywhere he goes. And supposedly, according to Rich Paul, Magic Man, I don't know if you caught our last show. There are 4 teams supposedly that today, if LeBron said he wanted to be traded, 4 teams would vie for his services on that. I find it a little bit hard to believe because again, you have to give up $52.6 million in assets. That's multiple players, most likely. The Lakers don't want to take a bad contract in return because remember, they're playing to 2027. So you tell me. You tell me.
yeah. You know what, Gerald? I'm It feels like I'm sitting in the back of a car that's heading towards not a cliff, Gerald, but it's unknown at this point. GPS is just going batty because at this point in time, there's nothing Rob can do. Unfortunately, there's nothing on the trade market right now that would be at all enticing. Plus, we were discussing that because LeBron has the NTC, like there's also no leverage for us. So whatever salary we're taking back, it could be a lot of dead wood. So just personally, I'm averse to making any kind of LeBron trade at this point, Gerald, especially considering the fact that it would have to be approved by him. Well, just because you like a trade, man, doesn't mean the Lakers would necessarily like it either. I mean, you do have that no trade clause. So even if you do like a trade, the Lakers still don't have to trade him. They
Well,
they have.
I was just going to say, Kaio's been trying to run this multiplayer trade for LeBron between the Clippers and the Lakers. Kaio, you should have been there at Thomas and Mack tonight. You could have been the guy running back and forth because I'm sure Lawrence Frank was somewhere around there, Magic Man. Sure, you could have gone ahead and like go between. Hey. If I asked LeBron, you guys want to trade now with Raw? You could have facilitated all this tonight during the game, Kaio. kind of disappointed. No, I'm kidding you, Kyle. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Gerald, we got a smart group that they were talking about, Dalton's bad body language. I agree. I've just
Just didn't
watching
look.
the
He's not looked
first
like all
10
summer. He's
minutes.
like
Yeah,
sandwiched.
slouching, like just he didn't look like he really wanted to communicate either, Gerald, with anybody out there. It almost felt like he was on an island, like literally. So I mean, I gotta echo what Alan was saying. I'm definitely concerned about Dalton Connect. I would say my concern level is a 10 out of 10.
Same here, my friend. Same here indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. Midnight hour for us here on the West Coast, 3 o'clock for Magic Man. Truly appreciate him staying up with us. It was so funny because the other day with Legend, bless his heart, you saw him rubbing his eyes at the end because it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Because Intel was begging us to stay up to midnight and whatnot. And so was the audience, and there's like, he was rubbing his eyes because so he couldn't make it to midnight, like 2:45 his time. But man, you guys are the troopers out there on the East Coast. Alan's out on the East Coast, so big shout out to him as well. Uh, it is, of
Well,
course, the
you
Lakers
know
fast
what it
break.
is. You know what it is, Gerald.
Mhm.
And a credit to you because I mean, obviously, you do this for a living. You got to be able to really, really fool your photoreceptors. If you're able to fool, because they are always trying to figure out when to close the eyes and go to sleep. So if you're able to master how to fool your photoreceptors, you can be able to master staying up late.
I will say this: this is true. I'm a night owl, anyways, so I'm pretty cool with it. Yeah, I just came back from the Thomas and Mack Arena. It's funny because I didn't have any cash on me, but I wanted to as I came on out get that NBA 2K26. I don't. My daughter was saying, "Oh, that's probably a fake T-shirt." Like the guy was talking the guy down to $10, and I'm like, man, thinking about going run to the ATM. Oh, well, they're probably going to be there the rest of this week. I'm going Thursday. I might actually just stop by the arena on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. But it's cool, isn't it? And 2K26 sure. If I get it, I'll put it on the air for you guys. But getting to Intel point, I'm going to bring up a larger point on this. Intel, thank you again for the super chat. Been giving us super chats all night. Truly appreciate it. He said we gave up 3 seconds for DFS and only kept him for what, 4 months? I'm
Mm-hmm.
worried about the same thing happening with Reeves, with Rui. But Joe and I got an argument. And to quote Joe, I don't care about Rui and Reeves. To try to do the best Joe Soro impersonation I can. And
No.
it's the point is you have those assets which you could very well lose. You want to be able to get something back for them unless your goal is to just clear cap space, which it seemingly looks like the Lakers want to do. They did want to match the DFS salary, which wasn't the full 4 year cushion that we thought it was when we first saw the Shams tweet. If you take a look at it, those last 2 years are not fully guaranteed. I think it's a partial on the third year and a not on the non-guaranteed on the final year. I may be mistaken, so if you guys let me know if what it is, but it's something the Lakers could have easily matched, but it didn't seem like the Lakers were trying hard to. Again, it goes back to are the Lakers going to let excuse me, not Dalton, but let Austin who was eating popcorn tonight. Again, my daughter wanted to point that out.
What kind of
Austin,
popcorn?
well, they just have a box. It's like $4. I had one
Oh,
for
it
a
was
bunch.
just regular. It wasn't like
Just regular pop.
it
No,
wasn't
no,
caramel
no
or
flavor.
cheddar.
No, no,
Cheddar?
no.
No. Okay.
Thomas and Mack has very generic uh, places to eat. Just
Okay.
some basic Mexican. Actually, they had a mariachi band, which was really cool there. That played most of the evening. That was really nice to hear. But yeah, they had just basic foods there. Nothing elaborate. You need to go across the street to the Legion Stadium to get varied things there. when you go inside there, or also as well at the T-Mobile Arena as well. Good stuff there as well. But getting back to what I was saying, I do not like letting decent rotation players, good players, great players leave for nothing and you getting nothing in return. That bothers me because it takes away pieces which can help build your team either now, Sean, or in the future. They have expiring assets which can walk away for nothing and just create cap space. That's fine if you want that. But what if you want something more? What if you want to help it's Luca win now? What if Luca gives you the ultimatum next summer? I want to win and have a team capable of winning a championship sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Gerald, that's a situation that the Lakers should obviously be thinking about because it's one of several options that might happen. And to note, I have this response to those who say, well, I don't care about Rui and I don't care about Austin Reeves. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you care about this? Help me understand how the Lakers are going to replace 40 points per game, 10 assists, around 8 to 12 rebounds, and roughly shooting around 38% from open threes. Which two guys are replacing that production for us? Because when I hear that kind of response, it kind of reminds me of that. I can't believe I'm going to quote the jackass Gerald, but here we go. Donald Rumsfeld. There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. Well, one of the unknown unknowns out there, you jackasses, are how the Lakers going to replace the productivity of one Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. None of you jackasses seem to be coming up with an explanation. Soro, I'm looking right at you because you were the jackass telling Gerald that it didn't matter that Reeves and Rui were walking out the door. Well, who are you replacing with? Tweedledum and Tweedledee? We
Well,
gonna go out there, Joe? You and me
well,
gonna go out there?
if Reeves wants only $20 to $22 million, as he said, he could see them doing it. He wouldn't be, opposed to that. But you and I both know if he gets 18 or 19, 20, and then points a game, 5 and 5. If he does 18, 5 and 5, 19, 5 and 5, 25 and 5 during the season, he is going to ask for 30 million plus
Gerald,
in
let's say he
2026, where teams will have cap space.
let's say
Teams are going to have
he
cap space starting next year.
let's say he incrementally improves 10% year over year, Joe. 10%, okay? So I don't have his stats in front of me. If you can pull them up, please. But I think he was around 20, almost 22, almost 5 and 5. So if we increase
He
that
was
by about
25 and 5 last year.
yeah. So I mean, if we go up, let's say he goes 27 and a half, 7 and 7, Gerald, if he wants 30 million, guys who produce get 30 million, who produce
I
27,
agree with
7 and
Bloodhound.
7.
If you and I are as representatives, I'm agreeing with Bloodhound. Bloodhound, if you're going with us and we're sitting out there in the front row with the Lakers, but we're sitting right next to
That's the market.
Austin Reeves tonight, that's what we're telling him. We're saying, see that guy over there on the other side, Rob Pelinka, you're going to get him on the hook for 30 to 35 million next year if he wants to retain you. That's what you need to tell your client, because that's what he should be asking for next summer at the very least. Whether or not he gets it, again, it all dictates based off of market when you sign, because if you don't sign sooner, your options become lesser the farther in you go into free agency, as we
And,
see
and
now,
Gerald,
these
and
restricted free agencies are
yes,
going on.
yes. So and this is another point to make, Gerald. We're all told wait till 2027. Gerald and Sean and all you other Lakers skeptics, just pour yourself a nice glass of iced tea and wait until 2027. Well, you know something, um, you know, players in baseball and basketball are valued quite differently, and there's an over evaluation that happens quite frequently in the NBA. And as such, even if the cap increases, and Blood, thank you for pointing that out, it's not going up 10%. It's not
The
going up
7 is
that
next year.
high. That's the highest it's going to go. And guess what, Gerald? The percentage of the cap on trades is 8% or 15%. So you're actually year over year, you're paying more actually to acquire a guy through a trade than the cap is going up. The cap's only going up 7%, but the trade hike is 8%. So do the math, guys. Even with this new ownership group, they have to be accountants. It doesn't matter how much money you have to allocate, Gerald. You have to be good at accounting in this league because a great team wins a championship, but they don't win multiple championships and anymore, Gerald. They don't win back to back.
JY says, so we're building around Luca, AR, and Aiton. I wouldn't say we're building around AR and Aiton
I
because
hope
remember,
it's not Aiden. I hope Aiden
A-
is in that equation.
if Aiton has a good season, JY next year, he's going to sign. He's going to walk away from his second year, become a free agent, and sign with the Lakers or whoever gives him the best deal. If he has a good season this upcoming season, he said that's a borderline playing team. I didn't say a playing team. I said 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we're looking at right now. Yeah, maybe you talk about a play-in team as far as the if they go down to 7th or 8th, of course they do. But again, they are not at the level of Houston, Denver, or OKC in their current status. And there's nothing that you're going to say, even with Luca playing at an MVP level, there is no way, JY, you're going to tell me right now that they go into the season because I I I speak to people here in this town that really looks at this game very closely. They do not see the Lakers as a favorite in the Western Conference.
And
I'm I,
yeah,
go ahead, my friend.
yeah, no, Gerald, and I was just gonna say, and Gerald, if you look at comps and you look at the market, why isn't Austin Reeves gonna get over 30? Why isn't he? Emmanuel Quickly is getting over 30. Any of you out there paying attention to Emmanuel Quickly in Toronto, Gerald? I bet a lot of them are not. Guess who else is going to make over 30 million in the NBA? Tyler Hero. If you comp those two players against Austin Reeves, tell me why Austin Reeves isn't going to get the same money they get. Explain it to me. He is a better overall player than Tyler Hero. He hasn't made an all-star game yet, though. He's a better overall player than Emmanuel Quickly. He isn't as good offensively as Emmanuel Quickly, but he is better defensively than Quickly is.
Yeah. The Intel, like I said, Intel's got it right there on the money. And he said it right here. If Aiden walks away, yeah, Aiden will walk away if he has an average year. If he has his average
Oh,
15 and
Intel's
10,
right about that. Yeah.
yeah, 15. If he does 15 and 10 for us, which is
Bye
good,
bye.
he's gone.
He's gone.
He's absolutely gone. He Intel also said on the super chat, thank you again. If he does 20 and 5 again, 25 and 5 again, he shoots 40% from 3, which is something he's never done. He's only been 35, 36. If he can get that to 40, he is dead. Even if his defense is trash, like Intel's saying, which, for the most part it has been, what is that worth? It's still worth $30 million. It's
Hmm.
still worth, as a guy who can facilitate for you, he can do other things besides just shoot. If he can become a 40% shooter, he can score. You can see that. He can get to the line. He can do certain things. That's going to be a valuable commodity on the right team. Now, I think Sean agrees with Joe and I. In a perfect world, he would be great as your sixth man. But these are not perfect world times. And unfortunately, at $30 million, he's probably never going to be. He's not going to be a six man for some time to come. Maybe on the downside of his career. But at this point, if he does elevate his shooting to 40%, I would say he's going to get paid at least. I think he's going to be asking for 35 million come free agency. But JY, I mean, where have the Lakers really gained? They picked up Aiton, helped solidify that center position. I will give you that. Jake LaRavia, you take out DFS, instead you put in Jake LaRavia, who has had one tested season. He's had one decent season so far. So you're hoping he can maintain that. You hope he got the message a year ago when Memphis took away the final year of his contract because he was so bad for Memphis his first 2 years in the league. He got the message and he improved his play. You're hoping to continue on that realm. And if that's the case, that's great. If it's not, it's not an expensive contract. You can get rid of it. That's not a problem. But that doesn't help the Lakers now this season. He's got to play well. He's got to replace the what DFS, what you lost with him. DeAndre Ayton, if he does 15 and 10, that's pretty much what you can ask for. And on the cheap contract, that's good. That's going to help the Lakers. But seeing these other teams advance and really go out and really make efforts to improve this team magic way above what Rob did this summer. Again, that's why I cannot have the Lakers as of now in that elite era, in that elite space in the Western Conference.
Yes, not yet, Gerald. There needs to be significant improvements. I mean, right now, I think we're in that second tier towards the middle or the bottom because I think we have just enough talent.
I
Like
think we're in the
Gerald
middle.
was
I think we're in the
saying,
middle.
we're in the middle. Yeah, we're in the middle. So you're in anywhere from like 4 to 8. So depending, like Gerald was saying, with Luka having an MVP type season, I think the Lakers could get anywhere from like second to fourth. I
Now
think they
that's
could
a
get
good
home
question
court
though. If
advantage.
he does have that MVP season and the Lakers ride that, and let's say it's February and the trade deadline, and let's say the Lakers are second in the West, which something which hasn't been always the most stable position. You saw Houston, Memphis, that when they got to second in the Western Conference, they both took like nosedives and they came back up again in Houston's case. Memphis, they didn't recover when they after they were in second. They kind of just fell off a cliff, and we know what happened there. If the Lakers are riding an MVP season from Luca, which can happen, uh, and they are in second or third place and defying what we think here on this panel, then you do need to go ahead. Rob needs to make an effort to get someone or someone's to help bolster that rotation for a playoff run. I really think that he needs to do more than he did last trade deadline and really go out and do something if that's the case. Because again, I think the window's open. I think the window's open, Magic, for the Lakers to go ahead and really make a run for it. I'm just like you said, with Rob looking at 2027, he does not look like he's both feet are in the water.
Yeah, Gerald. It seems like um he is just in that lukewarm bath he loves so much, neither hot nor cold, just nice and steady. It's irritating. I want
That's
this, but
okay. He did okay. To me, I don't think he did a D. I think he did a little higher than that. I think he did okay. You got DeAndre Ayton, potentially a fifth double guy on the cheap. That's a good deal. Jake LaRavia, if he plays like he did last year, he becomes a 12-point a game scorer. That's a good deal. But after that, what else did you do? You're going to ask Adu Thiero, who is coming off a knee injury, he didn't play like a summer league. You're asking him to contribute right away for a guy who shot 28%
well, a D's a
from the
pass.
college.
I'm not giving him F. I'm not saying he failed. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
that's
it's like you barely
okay.
passed to me.
I was in the C range myself, the
Okay,
C C
that it's.
plus.
I wouldn't argue a C. I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't that you wouldn't get a soft argument from me over a C.
Okay,
So
yeah, that
so
was okay.
okay,
That
all
was
right.
okay.
Yeah,
I just wish he'd done more, but I see the fact that, like Rich Paul, for wherever you say, and all this noise and all the backhanded stuff and all the stuff that went on and all the love that they gave each other tonight for all the stuff that they did and said in recent days and weeks, the one thing that was the most true is the Lakers are definitely on two different timelines, which prevents you from committing totally to one or the other. And eventually,
Ger-
if push comes to shove, Magic Man, which one they're going to commit to? I have a feeling they're going to commit to the 2027 before they commit to the 2025-26 season.
100%, Gerald. 100%. And by the way, Gerald, do you remember the last player who was acquired in an off-season trade by the Lakers?
Who's that?
Patrick Beverly.
Oh, Joe's favorite. Joe's favorite. Joe's second favorite player behind
That's
Bronny
the
James.
last time Rob Pelinka made an off-season trade of any type of significance was in 2022.
Well, let's try to close out on a pretty decent note. Okay, this is the second last game for the Lakers here in Summer League. I know Thursday I'll be watching the game there, but I'll probably come back a little early to go ahead and set up for an earlier post game for everyone out there. But I will be checking out the game at least the first half. I'll be checking out there at Thomas and Mack. I want to ask your thoughts on this. There are players, as I've said to you before, are playing for their NBA life on the Lakers team. But for the most part, most of them disappointed greatly with Rob and JJ in attendance. It was it's actually, and it hurts me to say that, it's disheartening in a way because these guys, the Darius Bateses of the world, the DJ Stewarts of the world, the Cole Swiders of the world, these guys are bouncing around forever in the annals of the NBA, G League, the 10 days, the 2 ways. Uh, it has to rhyme with AY in order for them to go ahead and find any kind of love in the NBA. I mean, there's no contract or year contract. No, it's a 10-day or a 2-way with these guys now. I mean, Darius Baisley, I think he realizes the error of his ways. And if he could have talked to his younger self, he'd love to have one of those conversations because he now looks like, especially after a terrible performance today, that he is probably not going to be offered maybe at best a training camp roster spot, but that's probably a destination 2 feet out the door to back to the G League. Cole Swider, I know we've had him before on this team on the 2-way. Um, the guy can shoot. He can flat out shoot. It's just the problem at 26. He is who he is. And the thing is, if Dalton Connect cannot understand that if he just looks to his left and sees what it's like to see a one-dimensional, one-trick pony who can only shoot and make threes, understand what it's like if you don't improve facets of your game, he will find himself in, 3 years? He will
Mhm.
find himself when he's 26, 27, to be in the same position Cole Swider's in right now, begging anyone for a cup of coffee, a 2-way, or maybe even a 10-day at best.
Yeah, well, Gerald, you know better than me because you're in Vegas. If being a 26-year-old basketball player could shoot is a lot like being a 3-year-old filly that's having trouble with the long races, Gerald. You're fast, but can I bank on you being able to finish the Derby? And then you
That's
have to go to Belmont, right? Gerald knows it's tough. It's a really tough call. Like we know Swider can shoot, but I'm just he is, like Gerald said, he is who he is at this point. I don't wanna I can't give you
I
that
really want I
golden
really want
tooth.
Cole Swider, Darius Baisley's. I want those guys to really succeed and get another shot back in the league. And in case of Cole Swider, I'd love to see him get an actual NBA multi-year contract. But it just, again, once you see them out every game, you see them live, you understand that these guys have limitations that they may never be able to overcome.
Yeah, Jill, I just so because of Dixon's injury status, that two-way contract is still up for grabs. That being said, so far, Gerald, I would not offer that last two-way to any player on the Los Angeles Lakers right now that is not under a contract.
Free Smoke says, "Why are we criticizing Rob so early?" Well, Free Smoke, you've been on this. You've been watching this show long enough to know that we have freely, pardon the pun, criticized Rob many a time, many a year. And yes, he did get the Luca trade done, but that was offered to him. But he did close the deal, so I give him credit for that. Why are we criticizing Rob so early when he has 3 expiring deals besides AR? Well, because he hasn't
Because like
utilized
Miss
said
Muffet,
deals.
he sat on his tuffet.
He before the draft, he could have gotten 4 trade, whether he traded them as one group or as separates. He could have at least with Rui and with Reeves gotten a player and a pick in this year's draft. A player plus a pick in this year's draft. I'm firmly convinced that if Austin had been out there, he would have been offered a player and a pick in somewhere in that first round and a player to go alongside of it. That's 2 players that could have been ready to help your rotation now. Rui, you might have even also gotten the same thing. Maybe not as high, maybe got like an early second, or maybe you could have gotten a late first for him and a player, but you could have done the same thing.
But
Or
see,
players. That's the
yeah.
thing. Multiple players you could have gotten. So Free Smoke, the fact that he has done nothing, he is deserving of criticism because these other teams, it's it's, it's like the Joneses. Okay, are we trying to keep up with
If
the
I may,
Joneses?
Gerald, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I actually think by not doing anything, Minnesota actually improved, guys, because they have young players that didn't really get a lot of shine in the rotation. Dillingham didn't play a lot. Terrence Shannon didn't play a lot. Now, because Nickel Alexander Walker is gone, and they need a little infusion of guard depth, Gerald, they're going to get to play because Conley is 38 years old and he's not going to get to play a lot. I actually think Minnesota improved by not just staying put, standing pat, Gerald.
Tufso says there are 2 guys we haven't seen yet. Talk about Eric Dixon and Adu Dero. Yeah, I don't count on rookie stuff. Don't count on rookie stuff.
Dixon isn't even
If
signed,
Dalton
tough.
couldn't play and he was a 5-year player, or you're counting on a 2-way guy and that hasn't played yet, and even in summer league, and you're also counting on a guy that also hasn't played in summer league that had a knee issue that shoots under 30% from 3 from the college 3-point line. These guys need to develop. We need to see if they can play first before you put them in a rotation. So yeah, I would not count on them. And Brad, you're saying, well, maybe waiting is good. You got 8. Yeah, you did get an 8 on the cheap. Absolutely. Yeah, waiting in that case was good. But also not waiting also the lessens your amount of opportunities you can to build this team. We could have gotten Clint Capella if we had rushed out there. No, if you're a smart GM, you don't get Clint Capella under any circumstances unless you want him as a minimum backup. I don't know what Houston was doing in this spend-thrifty mode. I mean, they made a good moves with getting DFS. They made a good move with getting Kevin Durant. I don't know why they wanted to pay more than minimum for Clint Capella. Whatever compelled them to do that, pardon the pun. Okay? But if you're a good GM and you're a good talent evaluator, you use the best opportunities, whether it's now or later, to field the best team you possibly can. Compete for a title now. Now, if that makes us impatient Lakers fans, fine. But who do we have to build around outside of Luca that's going to help us take us to the next level in 2-3 years down the line? Who is
Gerald,
going to be that player other than Luca? I don't think there
yeah.
is one that the Lakers have been able to build around or
I,
can build around to do just that.
Gerald, if I may,
Mhm.
One of the reasons why Houston was able to do what they did was they almost had a identical situation in the Lakers. They had a player who is making over close to $50 million, not quite as much as LeBron, but close to it in Freddie Van Fleet. And Freddie decided to uh, opt out, Gerald, and signed an extension for less money, but it gave Houston the wiggle room to make a move to grab KD. And then you
Listen,
were able to have the money to sign a Clint Capella and unload a Jock Lindell and a Cam Whitmore because you were able to secure that kind of flexibility. Did LeBron do that for the Lakers, ladies and gentlemen? He did not. He did not. He wanted his money. He opted in.
and more
This
power
is
to him for
and
wanting
more
his
power.
money.
And yes, yes. This is what I'm saying. This is what we're saying. It's not against LeBron. This is the CBA. These are the rules, and this is the constraints we're under.
But don't have your cake and eat it too. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Exactly. And that's the point. That was the point. Freddie opted out. He's a vet. He saw what the Rockets were trying to do. The Rockets convinced Freddie to take less money, more term. That's not what LeBron wanted. So Gerald's right. Don't have your cake and eat it too. You wanted the money, all right. You got the money, but you can't have your money and your championship
Oh, he could have
parade
taken
too.
less, Brad, but yeah, but you just can't. Yeah, I'm just saying you take the money or you take less and then complain. If you take less and Rob still doesn't do enough for you as far as building a team around you, you have every right to complain because you took less. You sacrificed for the team. If you took the full $53 million and are still complaining about the two timelines and all that, I think that's what rubs people the wrong way. And for that, wouldn't argue with them for saying that. But I'm not going to argue with somebody that has a limited amount of time playing left, even if it was like 5, 10 years in or 20 years in the case of LeBron. You got to get your money when you can because you never know. One knee injury, one Achilles injury, and it could all go away. Brad, yes, 53 million is wild, but you're going to see more of that. Not just LeBron. You're going to see more of that in the future. Those final years for Curry, final years for some other
Harden,
SGA.
Giannis, AD, just wait.
Yep, Joe, I'm going to stick that cake and put it in your face, man. If you don't stop it, man, just hush. You didn't bother to join us on here, so yeah, you don't have the right to say anything about no damn cake.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yes.
if you're not here, why should we give a fuck what you have to say?
Oh, I'm trying to egg him on and he come on here, but I don't know if that'll do
Well,
it.
I mean,
See, there you go.
I
Booker,
really,
73 million a year. There you go.
yeah. See, Joe. When Joe's on, I'm not. I don't give a shit what he has to say.
Oh, he says a lot. He says a lot about everyone. Usually says a lot about me.
Hmm.
It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Want to thank you so much for listening. Again, the Lakers lose 67-58. I don't know. I don't want to take too much away from this. Okay, I don't want to take too much away from this summer league, and I'll just say, JSJ, don't get involved in this, JSJ. Everything's good. So, all right, but let me get back. Magic Man may have shorted out on his tablet, maybe lost his feed there, but I'll just close it out with this again. Lakers lose 67-58. Good performance for Bronny. Can he put them together? Can he start being more consistent and having these games more often? We'll have to wait and see. The Lakers have only one more opportunity left because I don't think even if they win on Thursday, they'll be able to advance. Maybe they will be, but I don't think they will be able to. It is against Thursday. It's going to be on Thursday at 6 p.m. So hopefully you'll be there for it on playback. I'll be watching the game, at least the first half of it, right there at the Thomas and Mack. So I'm looking forward to that. But it is, of course, JY. JY said, what is the debt going to come from? Where's the department going to come from this year? Not trying. I don't know what you're saying, JY. You'll have to forgive me. But if you want to rephrase that before we head on out, let me know. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, I think you ran out of the data, and it just kind of knocked me out and knocked the channel out for a second there. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Yeah, it's not your internet this time. It's not your internet, Joe. Brad, it says Bronny legacy game. Again, Brad, if Bronny has to put these together to change my mind, to change Joe's mind, Sean's mind, and everybody else's that have been so negative or realistic on Bronny's chances as an NBA player, as to those that, like in the crowd today, were cheering him endlessly, that were cheering his every move. So yeah, but Joe still not the believer for Joe, but with as bad a bench as we have, he might get a look, Joe, whether you like it or not. Yeah, Bloodhound. He just needs to hit a shot more consistently. He does. He looked better running the point, but I still wouldn't put him as a point guard at an NBA level. NBA defenders would just eat that alive, because I just have him playing at an off-ball position. And again, if he can get it to the point where they're playing up on him, if they're playing drop coverage on him and he's still missing shots, that's going to be a big problem. But yeah, Bloodhound. If he does succeed, it helps the Lakers rotation. It is great for the Lakers, because Gabe Vincent hasn't been doing very much for us. And you see what else we've got on the bench. It hasn't been much. So he is an undersized combo guard. So we'll see what happens. But again, he's got to put these performances together indeed. But it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. I'll try to come on here in the next few days, but I'm definitely coming back on Thursday for the post game there. But yes, definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Summer League. He needs Bryce's height. That he does. Because he is, I think he's even shorter than me. So I think he's right around 6 feet. So they say 6'2", but I don't think he is. Didn't look like it today, that's for sure. But again, it is the Lakers fast break. Truly appreciate you joining us. So for Magic Man Sean Grice, it's me, Gerald Glassford. Again, we'll probably stop by here in the next couple of days to go ahead and have some conversations. At least one of those 2 days, at least, to go ahead and make sure you're covered with us. And then on Thursday, I'll be back. Remember, the Lakers will be on playback 6 p.m., so go ahead and check it out. It'll be their last game of Summer League, most likely. Yes, I am still there, Brad. I am still here, so definitely looking forward. Yes, I am. So, yes, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's going on. Definitely looking forward to seeing what the Lakers can do, and if they do anything else, we will find out. Truly appreciate you joining us, and from all of us to all of you, a pleasant morning, a pleasant evening, and pleasant tidings from Summer League from all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.